Okay, here we go. Yep. Hi.
How may I help you today?
We are on the 10 o'clock tour.
We already have you down.
Okay.
And if you'd like to look at the map here,
Yes.
in about 7 minutes, you'll meet up on top of the 4th floor between rooms 5 and 6 next to the staircase. It is that side of the building staircase.
Okay.
On the 4th floor, there should be a sign that says Cupola Tour.
Okay.
Yep, and that is in 7 minutes.
So we might as well just start moseying our way there, huh?
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll take the stairs.
We're going to be here for a while.
Yeah. You think?
Right? My legs. Down these stairs.
All right.
Before we go up, we'd just like to briefly talk about this building in 1830. So in 1830, Reverend Simon Schmucker, thing says Samuel Simon Schmucker, and I just feel like I have to say that whole name, wanted to start a secondary seminary. There was one in New York. So in 1826, in a building at Washington and Middle Street, he opened the seminary. By 1830, more and more students were coming, so he paid $1,100 for 20 acres of land. 1831, they started the construction of this building, and it was open for school 1832. That just, I don't know what gets built that fast.
Yeah.
At the time, it was everything: dorms, classrooms, chapel. The Ziegler family lived on the first floor, or that would be the basement compared to what we came in. The kitchen was back there. It had a central staircase, so the fireplaces would heat the building. Moving ahead, by 1890s, more and more people, it was 1895, more and more students were coming. So Valentine Hall, that building to the south of us, was built, and that became the school. 1895, this is what we have from the remodel. We took out the central staircase. There were stairs on either end, but so the wood on the floor, the walls, the banisters, they're all from 1895
Oh, wow.
on. Then it became just dormitory. Everything else was needed, was taught in the Valentine Hall. At the time of the battle, there was 3 buildings here. You can't see them from up there, so I'll just quickly talk to the other side of Valentine Hall is Reverend Schmucker's house, 1833. And on the other side of the chapel, that was 1942, he was the first president of the college, and then he became an instructor here. Kraut was his name, Reverend Kraut. Reverend Schmucker also started Pennsylvania College in 1831, which is now Gettysburg College. He was young when he started, and a lot of them were still teenagers, so he wanted the students to have a little bit more advanced education, so he started the college. So that's it. It's hot. I don't know why this heat is going. We're going to go up. When you go up to the attic, there's beams to watch, please, when you're stepping over, and it starts to get low. But that truly is from 1832, so I love the attic. All right. Please watch your step as we come in. And then, as I said, it does start to get a little bit lower. Obviously, this is modern. It's where our HVAC and electrical. But you can see up, you look at some of these planks up here. That's a tree. That's a large tree that was here to build these. So we know the exterior are the original bricks, but they look very fresh. They've been power washed, they've been but these are the same bricks, so you can see how not custom made they are. They used to cut the wood off down on the lower level, bring them up, and we know that because there's several places throughout the building they would score them, Roman numeral, bring them up and match them. Some of the nails you can see are forged, so This is still the original building. The cupola, unfortunately, is not the original. 1913, a storm came through here, lightning hit it, started to fire. Luckily, the roof was slate, so it didn't burn all the way down. They got it out. So it is from 1914 on. When we go up, it's easier when you get to the upper level. You can see the different color wood. I mean, these are the beams. Well, they spliced it or spiced it. No, spice would be spliced. Is that the word to cut?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think so.
Everybody believes that maybe the top wood was singed. So when they built a new cupola, they wanted its support. We're going to talk about General Buford. I'm going to say 2,400. There's give or take a few, 20 people. And his signal corps, Lieutenant Aaron Jerome. He had nobody, I mean, it was a one flag motion, but when he first came, he had nobody to, so everything was by courier, but as the days went on, the hours went on July 1st, he was able to signal with the signal corps to when General Howard arrived, but we'll talk about that. So we're going to work our way up. The numbers, the dates on the various walls, 1914, anytime any work was done, they would mark the date rather than sign their names. That's just what it is. It's, and please, it really does start to get local right up here.
It's like a little time capsule.
Yeah. So cool. Head knocker above. It says caution, head knocker above. Did you see the sign? On the step. It was on the step.
I got a duck.
We're going to do pictures. Now's a great time coming up.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna pass these.
Want to do pictures?
Yeah, it's gonna shoot
You're gonna
video.
On our first floor, we have pictures because they built a fake front. And
I can't do pictures right now. No, it's all right. Go ahead and do your thing. I'll do it later.
They didn't want horses.
Yeah.
But no, there is photos of him up here at least once.
Oh, good.
All right. So now that we're all up here, I'd just quickly like to orient ourselves to where we are. Due north, straight ahead, where the Eternal Peace Light Memorial is. As I said, the chapel was in here, and if you take those trees, they weren't anything like that height or that thickness. You really have to think of the battle in a different mode. Yes, there was these trees here, but not to the thickness as they are. So
Okay.
just keep that in mind when you talk about it. You continue around, that beautiful brick building is now Gettysburg College, and all those buildings are their dorms, athletic. Continue around that tannish building with the black horizontal line. I don't know if you're able to see it, it's on this side. That's the Gettysburg Hotel, right in the center of town. Baltimore Street continues, not the far hill, but the next hill. It really doesn't look like a hill because we're up so high, is Phelps Hill. The water tower continues west of it. That's right on the north side of Cemetery Hill. Cemetery Ridge continues down along the treetops, and you can still kind of see, I mean, you can see a big round top just to the left of it, a little round top. If you're ever here in the spring, that's the best time because the leaves aren't here. You really can see. Huh, they're like asking you to come back.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Fairfield Road, those are the South Mountains. It's a continuation of the Blue Ridge Mountains coming up from Virginia. The Confederates stayed on the west side of the mountains all the way up. Chambersburg Pike is 24 miles on the other side of the mountains. They came through the gap, and you really can't see the gap because of the fog, but Cashtown Gap. That red rooftop farm out there, that's her ridge. We'll talk about it briefly. If you went out another mile, it would be Knoxland Ridge. And that's, if you drive out there, the first shot marker is out there. There's nothing else to see. You almost go by it. So then we have McPherson Ridge where the cars are and the trees. The road that we see coming through town is Chambersburg Pike. Just to the north of it is the railroad cut that was here at the time, but no tracks. It was just the cut. And both sides actually jumped into it to get out of harm's way, but most of them got captured. So they were used by both sides. And then we are back with them. So I tend to talk fast because there's so much I want to say. So every now and then I'm going to remind myself to just, but still so much in 30 minutes. So how did they get here? Fredericksburg, Charlottesville, major battle that the Confederates won in the spring. Charlottesville was May 63. So General Lee went back to Jefferson Davis, stated, I want to take the army to the north. He really felt that this army would beat anybody. And they were outnumbered at Charlottesville. But so he wanted to come and win a decisive battle on Northern territory. He figured the morale is low. He's reading things. He's hearing things. If he could win a battle up here, the Northerners would say, enough, this war ended. Give them what they want. He also needed to feed his army. For years, not just in Virginia, but in Tennessee, battles have been going on in Virginia. The farmers, the citizens, could never get a full crop in because another battle would come. So the citizens and the army needed food, needed stuff. So he thought, okay, if he can take a 4-month trip into the north, he is really going to fill up his wagons, and he was able to. But once again, a decisive battle. So June 3rd, they're leaving Virginia. June 15th, they're crossing the Potomac River. He really did not have a goal. Is the battle going to be in Maryland? Is it going to be in Pennsylvania? He really didn't know. And what really forced him to make a decision is when on June 28th is when he heard from Longstreet's spy that the Union were not in Virginia. They're down in Maryland. They're working their way, east and moving up north. He thought they were 2 days away. So on June 28th, he really needed to make a decision. He kind of actually a little bit before that decided he wanted to battle in Harrisburg. If he could take Harrisburg, the capital of Pennsylvania, it would force the Union to come to him. So now he's got this defensive line set up. And the Union would have to protect Frederick, Baltimore, D.C. So on June 26th, they're not in order. The Second Corps has already come through the gap. 8,000, which Confederates come through town, and there are militia, young militia. A couple of them, the militia men, were from the college and the seminary. They'd gone up to Harrisburg, so that didn't work well, but they did what they did. I mean, they tried to hold them down, but they were going to go on to York, Susquehanna, cross the river to work their way up to Harrisburg. He sent another of his Second Corps, about 15,000, give or take, continuing north to get to Harrisburg. So this is on the 26th, they're marching, they're moving, it takes a while. He hears, okay, Lee is close to Maryland, Harrisburg can't be my focus. Carlisle, he wanted it a little bit closer to the mountains for his, communication, his wagons. So he orders the Second Corps, let's say there's 25,000, to come to Carlisle, which continue, come back through the west. Those that are in York, they were the 8,000 in New York, or the river. The townspeople, Wrightsville, and the other side of the river, they knew they could not let the Confederates cross. So actually, the townspeople burnt the wooden bridge on Wrightsville, so they could not cross. We cannot let them cross. It may have been helpful for the Union on July 1st, but they're just closer. So here's where everybody's laid out. We have the First Corps, General Reynolds. He's north of Emmitsburg. Emmitsburg is 10 miles south, but he's north of Emmitsburg, just so you can place everybody. So on June 3rd, 29th, General Buford is out by the gap out there. and he can see some skirmishers. So he rides to tell General Reynolds there's Confederates close. I'm going to go up to Gettysburg. They have maps. General Reynolds actually is from Lancaster, so he knows the area. They come riding up June 30th. They're coming up Taneytown, Emmitsburg. Now, it wasn't shoes, but that's what a lot of people. General Heath of the Second Corps here, he wanted to send the division. I'm sorry,
No, you're fine. I'm fine.
he wanted not for shoes, but it also, I mean, this is just a little side fact. It's like, well, why would they send somebody here to look for shoes if somebody had come through just 4 days before that? But they're two different corps. My mind is that this corps didn't know because General Lee's still back in Chambersburg. But anyway, so they're coming to see what's here. Is it militia? You know, they need to know what they're facing in this town. Well, as Buford comes riding up, and 8,000, give or take, come marching down, they can see the cavalry. And they know they cannot start a major engagement. They go back, so now they just walk 16 miles to say, okay, the Union cavalry's in Gettysburg. And their commander said, no, they're not. It's just militia. General Lee said they're 2 days away. Oops. Okay, so now July 1st, General Buford's got his headquarters in town. He sends Lieutenant Aaron Jerome, find the highest place. This is great. Well, actually, he's here on June 30th because he can see that they're coming. And actually, a lot of the students are up here. There's documentation. They look out, and you can imagine nighttime, hundreds of campfires in the woods. They know something's going to happen. About 5 a.m., the first group, about 4,000, and behind them is another 6,000 Confederates start marching down the pike. General Buford has half of his cavalry, which they are. They're the eyes and ears spread out in about a 7-mile arc, protect the left flank, protect the right over here in case they're coming from Harrisburg. They know they're there. The remainder, he sends them out to the pike, and they go beyond her ridge, they go beyond Knoxland Ridge, go out, and that's how they now can see artillery and infantry coming down the road. The advantage to the Union cavalry is they have repeating rifles, carbine, sharp rifles. They're going to fire 7 shots a minute. Muzzle loader, 3 shots a minute. So what the Union would do is they would go in groups. 4 would dismount, 1 would hold the reins, the other 3 would spread out. They're still, protection. Well, they start firing, so you can imagine what the Confederates are having. If 3 men are 7 times a minute, they now think, whoa, there's somebody there besides just militia. That was enough time for Buford to give Reynolds time to get up here. It took the Confederates an hour and a half to go just 1 mile because of that delay. Now, I'm saying this is happening in 2 minutes. It takes a while.
Yeah.
The other thing I read, because they were constantly stopped, the second wave of Confederates, they just got so far behind because you read various books and you got to take what you believe, but if you read it more than once in different books, they were starting to set up their coffee. I mean, they were taking their time. So they weren't right behind them as a thing. All right. So by the time they get to her ridge, they're doing this dismount and fire, dismount and fire. They know they have McPherson Ridge to fall back to, so the cavalry falls back. General Lee had issued orders all through the march, and even days, do not start a major engagement until my full army is up, because he knows he's got 20 plus here. General Longstreet is still on the other side of the pike, the mountain in Chambersburg. And this is just General, so he's really spread out. He does not want a major engagement. Well, they kind of run into it because as they're coming into town. As the Union retreats, the Confederates are marching down the road. They now split into line of battle. Half of them go to the north, half of them come to the south. Once again, to get into that, I've read that they've got someone who's got to issue the orders, write the orders, send the orders out to A, B, to C, and now they've got to go spread out. So once again, this is a good hour or so. Actually, plenty of time that the first corps that had started about 8 a.m. came marching up. General Reynolds, he's at the lead, he's on his horses. So he's down there. Jerome can see the The first corps is a round circle. Each corps has their own symbol as you're out on the battlefield with some diamonds, crescent moons. Reynolds comes riding up, talks with Buford, knows what's going on, he's here probably a good 40 minutes before his infantry comes, but sends messengers to his infantry. As they're approaching Dory Farm, which is on Emmitsburg Road, there's a brick building there, they're ordered, drop what you don't need, come running up here, everybody can see this. Now, granted, there are buildings here, but there's a lot of fences and cows and sheep and corn and, what we see going now. So it's not an easy march in the field like we have. So they come marching up. The 2nd Division, or the 1st Corps, by General Reynolds, is placed on the north side of the pike. That's a little bit more open field out there. So they wanted to have the open protected first. Right behind them comes the Iron Brigade, Black Hats. General Reynolds can see Confederates coming through the woods. They're nothing like we see now. And it's the Iron Brigade, the Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana. As he's pushing them through, he looks back to see who else is coming. That's when he's shot and got killed instantly. About 15, 20 minutes here in the battle is when General Reynolds is killed. So this is the battle kind of consisted of 4 parts. So we had the first part, the cavalry. The second part, the infantry started now engaging. And as each division they're coming with 6 cannons. So there's cannons along this ridge, out there by the street light, but the Confederates also have theirs. So yes, there's infantry, but there's also artillery. So this battle goes on, more and more reserves are coming up, they're held in reserve, they're building defense walls, whatever they can. After about 11:30, there'd be a slight lull. The Union, their average in their packs is 40 cartridges. Well, they might have 50, but they can only take so much. So they have to regroup, resupply both sides. Jerome up here, he looks north. You would not know it with all the trees, but he could see another corps coming from the north. Now it's the corps that was on the way to Harrisburg. They had their orders to go to Carlisle, but as they're getting, 10 miles, 5 miles, they can hear artillery. So they take it upon themselves to start coming down. So we have, Rhodes is this corps, and then Ewell, or Early, is coming from the northeast. So now Jerome's up here, and he knows there's a whole other group of 20,000 plus coming through here, and we have all these men coming here. Luckily, at that time is when General Howard of the 11th Corps, and that's where the water tower, and you go up there and you'll see the cannons. That's the 11th Corps. They only had 9,000 men because one division was south guarding wagons. So he knows most of these generals went to West Point. They all studied the same thing. They all know if you have the high ground, you've got it made. So he knows to lead one corps with artillery up there, start building the earthworks. At the time, they're a lot higher than they are now, but those are the actual, location where they were to aim north and also to help out here. Doubleday, who has taken over command, rides up to Howard and says, "I need some reinforcements. We're getting slammed. There's another way." They could see more Confederates. And he said, "We got, Confederates, so I can't give you anybody." So, the 10,000 First Corps are here against another 20,000 coming this way, 20, So they're like, they know it's not like what they do, what they need to do. Howard sends one division out. He wants to go and capture Oak Hill. It's that ridge up there. You can have the high ground. We got it made. That would be too good. Well, General Rhodes and the Confederates get there probably half hour, 40 minutes before the Union do. So now the Confederates control this high ground. The Union do push and they get close, and there is a battle going on. The 2nd Division, which is Barlow, he's moved out to cover the right flank. Now, this is it's just a nice even number, about 6,000 men coming out here, but there's a good 20,000 coming. Now, it takes a while. Artillery's got to get set up, infantry, so it's not happening like that, but there's a whole lot more men. While they're getting set up, the second wave is starting to happen around here. Now, the second wave of Confederates, they're not coming straight on like the first did. They know, once again, that's what happened in Charlottesville. The Confederates came around and flanked the right flank of the Union, overwhelmed them. So now they're wanting to go through the woods. That barn out there, just the top of the barn, that's like the left, that is almost the left flank of the Union line. They know if they can get around and come this way, they have a good opportunity. So once again, it takes a while to walk through the woods, movement. So this starts picking up. What's happening up here is they set up their artillery, and now they have, if you go up there, there's two cannons, they're called Whitworth cannons. They're from England. They'll fire 2 miles. So they're starting to fire here, and remember, there's no buildings, they can hit there. The Union, the First Corps that's right here, they've got firing coming in from both sides. The 11th Corps that's out here, General Barlow does what Sickles does the next day. He looks out and thinks that ridge is a little bit higher. I think I'd like to go to that ridge. Well, if you're in a line and you're with your, you're protecting, and now you're out here, you're open to terrible firing. This battle's going on for an hour, hour and a half. Not minimizing that nothing happened, but Barlow actually is wounded. No one really knows who to take command, and that whole division starts falling back. They go through town. After several hours, about 900 are captured. So now it's a domino effect. Barlow's is out of the way. Now the 11th Corps that's up there by the ridge, they're now getting the full. They start falling back. They're coming not through town, but they're coming through fields. And once again, there's fences. But now the worst thing is there's dead Union soldiers that they're walking over, their wounded friends. It's got to be a nightmare, dead animals to retreat. Because Howard had sent out a message and order, if we're going to retreat to Cemetery Hill. They know you've got to fall back someplace. So the 11th Corps starts falling back. The 1st Corps that's up here, they start falling back. The second wave of the Corps, 11th, were out here. They start pushing the Union back here. One thing to look about that just as you're driving the battlefield, the rule of order for the placement of the monuments is where they first engaged. So if you drive here, there's a lot of monuments, but they're Confederate, they're artillery. There's only 3 regiment monuments out here. I think there's 3, I'm gonna say 4, just 4, because I gotta double check. General average, 300 to a regiment. That's gonna be higher, lower. So let's say 4. That's 1,200 Union to about 6,000. 5,000 Confederates are coming in. They're going to be pushed back eventually. If you drive up and you're coming from Momentsburg Road, coming down, and you count the monuments up here, there's 11 of them. And you'll see how close they are.
Yeah.
Well, that's why most of the 1st Corps were sent to the north, because they had to protect the north. They had all those new 20,000 Confederates coming this way, and they still that way. So, of course, the group of Union out here are going to be overrun pretty quick. They start falling back, everybody's falling back. Colonel McFarland, that you'll hear a lot about, especially on the 3rd floor, he's in charge of the 151st Pennsylvania. The 2 monuments out straight ahead, it's the farthest one is the 151st. School teachers, they're all school teachers. It said school teachers. That's pretty cool. So they're there, they're falling back, but he's giving orders. You're the last line of defense. You have to hold as best as you can to everybody. So they do it. I mean, I give anybody in the war amazing respect. They're falling back. He's looking around. Kind of what happened to Reynolds. He looks to see who's coming, if there's anybody else. He's shot almost simultaneously with both knees. As he's being carried in, he's coming in the north door. The Confederates that had come around, they now have swept everybody back to Cemetery Ridge, and now they're taking over the south door. And now they have this whole area from Oak Hill all the way down AP Hill of the 2nd Corps. At the end of the day, they come in, they're moved down there. Longstreet eventually gets here late in the afternoon. and he's on the other side. So when you drive down West Confederate Avenue, you'll see all the Confederates because, yeah, they leave it to, prove up there with those cannons. General Ewell that is out here, if you go to the east of town, as you're driving, if you see an upright cannon,
Yeah.
that's a Corps headquarters. Like Lee's is out here, Doubleday's out there. You have to go east of town to find General Ewell's headquarters. So the reason I'm saying that is when all the Union retreat, 3rd Corps comes up, 12th Corps comes, the 2nd Corps comes early in the morning the next day, you're in that fish hook that they talk about, or the J. And the way that comes in, I'm not saying one regiment is better than the other, but when they're all retreating, the Iron Brigade that lost so many, 24th Michigan lost more soldiers in that regiment than any other Union regiment. They get up to Cemetery Hill, and I'm just picturing this, it's just my world. They're sitting down, they're finally able to have water, catch their breath. They marched 8 miles, they fought for 5 hours, they just retreated. General Hancock, who General Meade had sent up, said to the Iron Brigade, you gotta go and take Culp's Hill. Nobody's there, you're not taking this, but you have to position yourself on Culp's Hill. Once again, it's a hill. Whoever holds the hills have the advantage. They knew there were Confederates out to the east somewhere. These guys, they don't get to sit and have their water. They have to now, if you're up there, Cemetery Hill, there's a swale that goes down, then Culp's Hill goes up. They march up there, and you can see their markers, but it's kind of in the woods. So when you're driving up Culp's Hill on that road, and you do the loop and you start coming down, go in the woods a little bit, and that's where they were positioned. So that's how they got that J, because Culp's Hill is southeast. Someone showed me this. So here's Culp's Hill, here's Cemetery Hill, and then here's the Seminary Ridge ground. That's about 3.5 mile line. That's real easy for General Meade to communicate.
Yeah.
When the Confederates get their position, you have General Ewell's headquarters on the east side of town, all the way down. That's about 8 miles. General Lee never met at one time with his 3 corps commanders. That's all he had was 3. The Union had 7, but they're 3 miles apart. And General Meade, just like the 28th when Lee learned, General Meade was the 5th Corps commander. He's now, Booker offered to resign. Lincoln said, fine, resign, and he replaced General Booker with General Meade. So now, 3 days, well, the 28th, 2 days before the battle, he's now in charge of 100,000 men. He did meet with his corps commander, definitely on the night of July 2. He ordered them all together because he knew, I need to know. He wasn't so sure of himself. General Lee rode out to meet with General Ewell, and he met with General Longstreet and Hill because they were pretty close. He never met with the 3 of them. Messengers were coming back and forth with different orders, so hindsight, who knows what would happen if he would have met with them. By the end of the day, or on July 4th, there's 10,000 Confederates that are left here that are wounded. In addition to all the thousands, 10,000 Union, to a town of 2,400. Every building, every church, almost every home became a hospital. General Lee's wagon, 14-mile wagon of loaded wounded, went down the same way they came in. His army retreated to the south. Can you imagine how painful when the rain came July 4th and they're in these wagons that have no signs? They're wounded. I mean, they're the worst. It's just
Yeah, right? Yeah.
The
Wow.
3,500 plus Union dead are eventually reinterred in the cemetery. Gettysburg Address, the dedication is November. It is until March the following year when everybody else is finally interred. This is, and then we know July 2, July 3. This is just, which makes me feel better. There was a doctor in town, and every time when they started to find graves. He would not let a body be moved until he identified it. It was Dr. O'Neill. He wanted to know, was it a Confederate? Was it a Confederate we're leaving behind? But he made detailed notes of where every Confederate was buried.
Wow.
3 years after the battle, this is published, it gets down to the ladies in the southern churches.
Yeah.
They write to Dr. O'Neill, said, will you help us return our family to the South? And he agreed, but before he could, he's killed in a buggy accident.
Oh.
Luckily, though, his son is also a doctor. So it takes a while. He was going to be paid something like $1.35 a body. He actually was able to send back 3,000 Confederates back south that had been buried here. Now, there's 3,500 that we know were reinterred. It's 3,000, 3,200. Who knows how many are still here?
Right.
Actually, in 1996, bones were found in the railroad cut.
I wonder.
Somebody was, it was a us. They were going over the bridge. They kind of glanced down. They could see some bones. The park, they came. They sent them to D.C. To identify. They couldn't really identify. And someone like, wouldn't they have had buttons? Maybe.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyways, they couldn't identify the person. But they did take the body and the bones left over and buried them in National Cemetery. So there could be there are a few Confederates accidentally buried there, but that was the last. That's pretty recent, 1996.
Wow, yeah.
So that's it. Day 2, day 3, just as terrible. But of the day 1, 50,000 fought, 1,500 killed, wounded, or missing. It's day 1 is the 16th worst day of a battle in from Fort Sumter to Appomattox.
Yeah.
That was not supposed to happen because this full army wasn't up, but it did. And then it lasted till 1865 at Appomattox. Whew, I know I try not to. Do you have any questions? To verify something?
I have a question.
Yes.
We're from Ohio, and we found the Ohio monument, but we didn't see like the left flank, right flank for them. So were they mixed in like with other states?
Well, no. They're there.
They're there?
The 75th
Okay.
and the 25th, both up on Barlow's Knoll and
We were over. Yeah, we found it over by Culp's.
Right.
Club Cell, right? See the blue
Yeah.
tower over there? Right
Yeah.
at the base of the blue tower. That's the 1863 hotel. If you go in the back, you walk out on the fence line, they got the left flank 17th OVI, Ohio
Okay.
Volunteer.
Okay.
Some of it is private property.
Okay.
When you get up by the water, there's some private property.
Okay.
out there.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd rather ask for forgiveness and seek permission. But anyway, so
I'm sorry. No, have you seen them?
I go and walk to it. It's right behind our hotel room.
Well, there you go. It's
Yeah.
at the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can, I don't think there was nothing said, no trespass. You can't go into the water tower.
No.
But there's the left flank of the Ohio Volunteer Infantry. I think it was
Okay.
But which regiment?
the 17th
Okay.
OVI.
I know the 25th and 75th is up there. I know they're on, but I
And
can't.
then there's another one.
Right,
There's
in the
actually a
woods.
left flank marker right next. You would think that they would be the left flank and the right flank marker
Yeah.
would be farther apart.
Yeah.
They're only 50
No.
yards apart.
Huh.
That's because they put units right together.
Yeah,
That's
and then they
what's-
have another one, a left flank. I didn't go down to see where the other one was, but it's like, if you see a marker, I'm assuming the side that it's printed on is the way they were facing. So when you read it, you say it's the left flank they were facing. So they were back to the tower facing down this way.
Because of the evening of July 2 is when that battle started, as they coming up Cemetery Hill.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so no, that battle, Culp's Hill, Cemetery Hill, didn't start till the evening, 4:30, 5 o'clock on July 2.
Yeah.
And they had the shade of the water tower to keep them warm.
Yeah. And they get a drink.
The lights from the
And they get a drink.
Just let them see the way. Well, that's what I'm saying.
They had better
When you
sound
drive out
coverage.
here, you're going to see, they're in position. So if there's
Yeah.
11, 3, 4, you're going to have, right flank, left flank. Well, now the monument may not be to here because that's how far they were spread out. you go up here, you see the monument.
Yeah.
Markers are
Right.
there.
Yeah. Right.
Because it truly is
They packed them
the
in.
line.
Ah,
That's why
okay.
there's 11
Okay.
monuments, 11 regiments.
Because the
up there.
Confederates had so many more.
More people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why if
Okay.
you look
That
here,
makes sense.
but I thought that was private property, and
No, it was actually a guy who waved to me when
Ah,
you walk up. There's a small residential area. People
yeah, they're
are
on
walking their
Gettysburg Road,
dogs. and-
they're-
okay. So,
if you go on the website, it's great. It's Stone Sentinel, one word.
Okay.
They
okay.
will tell you Stone Sentinel Gettysburg.
Yeah.
They'll tell you every regiment there and where they're
Okay.
located.
Okay. Great. Stone.
I mean, Antietam, Manassas,
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
They'll tell you where.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
But I was wondering about bodies too, because when we were kind of out driving around with the battlefield, I'm like, do you think there's still some bodies buried out there? And I'm thinking there are. Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yes
I'm
and no?
learning. Well, I knew there was when Camp Colt here under, what was he, Colonel Eisenhower?
Yeah.
You know, the training for the tanks in 1919 or something like that. They had a swimming pool out in the middle of the battlefield.
Oh.
So now that swimming pool was dug,
Yeah.
filled, and then replaced. So who knows what happened
What
then?
there? Yeah.
Then in 1922, 5,000 Marines came up here. They marched from D.C. from Camp Lejeune,
Hmm.
that's down in South Carolina, Quantico, to D.C., and then they marched up here. So they were 5,000.
Wow.
President Harding had his tents out here so they could reenact Pickett's charge.
Huh.
This is getting awful. Because that was a publicity stunt. After
Yeah.
World War,
Yeah.
is this okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry. After World War II, General Pershing wanted the Marines to join the Army.
Oh.
And General Lejeune said, no, that's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
We're not, we're the
Yeah.
Marines.
Yeah.
So he kind of went on this is what they're saying, a PR.
Oh.
You can go on the Library of Congress and see the amazing pictures of their tents here. He went on a
Wow.
publicity stunt because President Harding liked Civil War and reenactment,
Right.
so they reenacted.
Huh.
Well, I saw pictures and there's airplanes. Like, well, where did they, bring airplanes in? Oh no, they built a landing strip down,
Huh.
across. So
Oh wow.
over the years, I mean, yes, it's the
Yeah.
way it is, but
Yeah.
over the years, things have been.
Yeah.
There's a great picture. President Harding wanted a bathtub. They
Yeah.
didn't want to bring it up on a truck. They
They
hooked
will?
bathtubs onto this airplane. It's the strangest looking airplane ever, and flew it here. How would that be any safer landing an airplane with bathtubs? But
Right. Interesting.
No questions?
Yes,
We'll
thank
work our way
you.
down.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Far.
Not all the way.
Not all the way.
Well, luckily I was there a few years ago
Oh, it's
with my dad.
just so eroded, and I mean, if somebody was in a wheelchair, they would have one path that they could see. The rest is just, and it's all the buses, the school bus, the
Yeah.
kids, adults. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, it needs done. I wish they would have scheduled it sooner because they're going to miss the anniversary
Well,
coming up.
You know what? They put in the money to Congress 5 years ago.
I know. Well, you said the magical word, Congress.
I mean, and they also needed to raise more funds. It wasn't going to be 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. 160th anniversary next year. Specifically for.
Oh, look at all that.
We have a escape room up here.
Oh, yeah?
That's what all those pieces parts are for an escape room.
Oh, cool.
No, it really is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Give us a thumbs up if you liked our video. And please subscribe by clicking the circle with our pictures on it. Thank you.